What's up guys? Finally, we're gonna discuss my dually build. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, I have a dually that I blacked out and I painted bumpers, I painted trim pieces, I powder coated wheels, and I put 37's and a few other things. Let me show you. There it is. Whew! That thing looks amazing. Oh yes. So let's go ahead and move it over to another side because yeah, it gets kind of loud by my house sometimes, especially around this time because people are coming home and I don't want to get distracted. So let's go ahead and do that. Now normally I don't do stuff like this, like to this extreme basically, but I found a shop out here, JC Automotion. They do great work and they really do like pay attention to the details. Now up first we're going to talk about the painted trim pieces, okay? So on the grill, when I'll probably show you guys some footage here, my Chevy dually had a chrome bumper and had a chrome bottom piece, and although the truck did look fine, I think that because Chevy does not build a blackout package for this truck, this was the perfect like benchmark because this is the only way you can really get the Chevy Silverado LTZ dually. They don't have painted bumpers for that trim level, right? But let's get back to it. So this grill did have a black shroud and these trim pieces connected to it. So what they did was they took these chrome trim pieces off and they painted them. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trim pieces there. Also down below here you can see this part of the bumper was actually removed and it was painted. Off to the side you have your center caps. There's 4 obviously, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, right? And the door handles were also painted. To have all those trim pieces painted and what do you call it, clear coated, that was $1,000. And to no one's surprise, everything is holding up extremely well. And even down here, like this trim piece is PPF, but yeah, these trim pieces, if you get up close, I mean, it's kind of dirty and I apologize, but yeah, I don't have time to wash these trucks in. I hand wash them, so I can't run them through a wash. And because it's a dually, I definitely can't run through a wash. But yeah, the trim pieces held up extremely well. Door handles, like especially this one, this is my door handle and this is the one that's used. It's held up extremely well. It matches the truck perfectly. You would never know that they were painted. But yeah, all that cost $1,000. So like I said, 5, 6, and 10, and 14 trim pieces were painted on this truck, and just separately from the bumpers it's $1,000. Now obviously everything did not need to be painted, so what we did was this hood scoop came off of the hood and I had them wrap this a gloss black, and I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but they were able to outline the Chevrolet on this hood scoop, and it actually looks better than what you could get from the factory. I love what they did. Also, I did have the bow tie on the front wrapped, and all of the emblems for the wheel caps were wrapped. Mirror caps also have a gloss black vinyl that matches the hood scoop, and on the side of the doors here you guys can see these were wrapped a matte black to better match like the black trim piece right there. Out back nothing was wrapped. I decided not to do the Silverado badge, LTZ badge, and the 3500 HD badge because I didn't know if I was going to go with either black or matte, or maybe even do like a cool bronze color or something like that. I don't know, but I decided it actually gives it a nice contrast. So to get all of these trim pieces wrapped, again, you have the Chevrolet badge on the center caps on the front, and then the mirrors, and then around the windows. That all costs $440. And I'm pretty sure that like if I have any issues with the vinyl wrapping, they will be more than happy to fix that too. So that's the nice thing about JC Automotion, like they really do go for like excellence. Painting bumpers is probably one of the most hottest topics in forums. I remember when I had my Ram, that was a question that a lot of people would have and it would come up pretty randomly throughout the year. And you can't just paint bumpers. You can't just sand them down really good and paint them. You have to remove them, number one, but when you remove these bumpers, you have to remove the fog lights, all of the brackets out back, and there's probably 20 to 30 bolts holding this bumper together with including all the brackets out back. Of course, your fog lights, all the plastic trim pieces have to come off. So yeah, you can't just sand this down and paint it because it wouldn't look good. So yeah, you have to remove the front and rear bumper, including all of the trim pieces on them. So again, you don't just sand your bumpers down and paint them. What they had to do before they painted them, they had to sandblast them. Sandblasting is not expensive, but it's not cheap. So yeah, before you can paint bumpers, if you're going to do this, I highly recommend that you sandblast because it puts it down to the bare metal. So sandblasting was about $250 for the bumpers. So it's not too expensive, as I said, but it's an expense that you probably weren't expecting. But the bumpers itself, to paint them and clear coat them, was $1,600. Also, the bumper was PPF'd, and unfortunately I don't remember what it costs, and it's kind of late, so I'm pretty sure no one's at the shop right now for me to ask. So this is say it's $400 to PPF the bumper. It was probably actually exactly that number. So yeah, the bumpers came out perfect, and they were actually redone twice, both front and rear, because first time they didn't like the way they looked. I didn't even see them, but they saw them, they inspected them, and they said nope. They sent them back, which held up my build and why it took a lot longer. But yeah, they sent the bumpers back, had them repainted, and listen guys, you could never tell that it's different from the truck. Like even the plastic trim piece, it just looks perfect. And like I said, even though $1,600 is a lot of money, I'll be honest, but it's not as bad as I thought it was. See, at first I was gonna have the bumpers vinyl wrapped, and when I got pricing for it, it was like $1,000. And of course it's still cheaper, and a lot cheaper in some cases, versus just painting. But vinyl wrap only lasts about 3 years, maybe. It could be even less than that, but I'm gonna say 3 years. Figure it's about 3 years that you're gonna get out of the vinyl wrap. And you can't just run vinyl wrap through the car wash. You have to really be careful how you clean it, because it can start to get foggy if you rub too hard, you burn it with a rag or something like that. And even for my mirrors, like these are gloss black, so that's why I only hand wash this truck, because I don't want these vinyl wrappings to come off or look nasty on the truck. So with that being said, I think $1,600 versus $1,000 to get the bumpers wrapped was a good expense. And the front bumper's protected with PPF, so I don't have to worry about rock chips. Up next, powder coating. These wheels were new for 2024, and they look great. 18-inch wheel, and there's 4 aluminums, and then there's 2 steelies. I did not paint the steelies because you can't even see them. Like, no matter how you look back there, you will never see those steel wheels. So I decided to leave those silver. But 18-inch wheel, front and rear obviously, were painted. And do you see that? They were painted in a gloss black. They are dirty because I did take this to the car wash and just rinsed it off really quickly, but it still looks dirty. And even out back, you can tell it looks glossy. And I clean these with tire and wheel cleaner, no problem. And they say like you can clean it how you always do. I wouldn't put acid or nothing on these wheels, but yeah, for the most part, you can pretty much use a painted wheel and tire cleaner for these. Now, to get 4 of these wheels, again, these are 18s, they're not 20, so if you are someone that has 20-inch wheels, I'm not sure how much it would cost to get that done, but for 18s, it costs $700 to get these wheels powder coated. And something else you need to really be mindful of, wherever you take your truck to get tires installed, you want to make sure they have an expert there to install the tires, because I would be very clear with them. If you scratch my wheels, you're going to fix it. Is that okay? Because I'm telling you guys, even though they're powder coated, if someone's using a sharp tool to put the tire on, then it's going to scuff it up, so it's not going to look good. So you want to be very careful. Even though they're powder coated, you still want to make sure that they protect the wheel before they install tires. Let's talk about my suspension upgrade and tire upgrade. If you don't know, these are the Toyo RTs. These are the open countries, and they are 37 by 12.5. These tires were not cheap, but these were not the original ones I wanted. I actually wanted the Toyo, I can't remember the name of them now, sorry. It doesn't matter. But yeah, these have a really nice tread pattern. They're very aggressive, and they're actually not that loud. I mean, there's a little bit of a hum, but I typically ride in my trucks with the music off, so I don't really notice it that much. So for this big of a tire, especially for a dually, these tires are the perfect setup, 100%. These tires were $2,795 to purchase, so they were not cheap. And also, I had to run some wheel adapters to get these tires to fit on the stock wheels. So I spent a lot of money on the wheel spacers. I got hub centric. They're steel. Like, they are so heavy. They're probably like 50 to 60 pounds a piece. They're probably heavier than that, honestly. They're really heavy. So the spacers were $870. Tires are $27.95. Also, I did level the truck with a 3-inch level. Now right now, it's only level 2¼ inches, but you can max this thing out to 3 inches if you like. And I think it would look great either way. I don't have any rubbing. The only thing that it rubbed on was the material inside of here. So we just cut a small little piece on both sides, and that's it. And yeah, it does rub actually on the frame right there. But once the tires wear down a little bit more, it's not gonna rub anymore. But with the tires and the wheels, yes, very expensive. But the level was only $558, and it changed the control arms up top. It added a spacer on the shock absorber there. And of course, the, what do you call the keys on the underbody? I can never remember those are called, the keys to turn this up. Basically, it replaced those to get the level, basically. So the leveling kit is a Cognito level. It was $558, and it cost $450 to get that installed. And with the installation, the bumpers were probably the most expensive for like the labor. So in the labor is the tires as well, like to get them out and balanced. It cost $840 for installation. So that was removing the bumpers, the grill. Some of it was wrapping too. Some of the trim pieces, there's a little bit of labor involved with that. So with my build, it cost $9,503 to paint, level, and add tires. When you see this truck on the road, it really does have a nice presence, and I really do love this build. Originally, I was looking to buy a 45-foot toy hauler, and my wife told me no. So yes, sadly, this truck is for sale. My wife said no like 3 times to that toy hauler. It was a, what was it? It was a Genesis 5th wheel toy hauler. I can't remember the number on it, but it had the divider for the garage. It's one of their best floor plans. I did a video on it too, if you would like to see that. Maybe I'll link that at the end of this video if you would like to see that RV. But that was the one I was going to get, and you needed a dually to tow that. So that's kind of why I built this truck. But she doesn't want something that big. And you know, we live out here in Utah, so there's so many places where you can go camp on BLM, and you can bring your side-by-side. So that's why I was kind of thinking, let's get a toy hauler. But hey, whatever the wife wants, she gets. So she said no to the toy hauler. So there's really no need for me to keep this. I don't need this to tow my 5th wheel now. And actually, never mind, that's another video. We'll talk about that another day, because I'm sad about that too. But yes, this is for sale. It is listed on AutoTrader. I will put a link in the description down below. And listen, if you would like to purchase this truck, I can discuss a price for you. I do have a dealer already lined up that wants to buy it. If you would like to purchase this truck, I'm probably by December 15th it's going to be gone. And if it's not sold on my channel, then I'm definitely going to sell it to the dealer, and they'll probably list it for a lot more than I have it. That's why I figured I would try to sell it myself first before, you know, I send it to a dealership and they have it up there for 100 grand, because they have quite a few dualies online kind of to this spec, not with these wheels, like with aftermarket wheels, that are like $100,000. So that's just, in my opinion, that's a lot of money. And I think that my truck is better. And I think that if you're a hot shotter, this would be perfect for you. I think you can still hot shot with these tires. They're great. They have a lot of capacity. But if you would like the factory tires, I still have them. And actually they come with the price too. So I'm giving those away too. So hope you guys liked the video. A couple of you guys have been asking me about this a lot. And now, here you go. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. We are looking at a new RV my wife picked out. And we're going to be talking about that soon too. So yeah, we are going to be selling our fifth wheel. So sad. Like, we had that for 5 years, lived in it, and it's been pretty good for the most part. So yeah, we're definitely bummed about it, and hopefully we can share our journey on why we picked the RV that we are looking to go pick up this Wednesday with you guys. So I don't know if I'm going to post that footage, but yeah, we got a lot of things coming. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure your notifications are on. See you soon.